Well, that's not a good sign. Let's go out to the mailbox and check the rain gauge. So I was supposed to have some more round bales to make today, but that didn't go well. So let's see what we got. Well, here's an inch. Dump that out. Now this was the rain we were supposed to get last Thursday, but really didn't. No rain was supposed to come until Friday night into Saturday, so late tomorrow. Yep. Only in Ohio can your wet dreams of a nice super dry hay week get ruined. Granted, we needed the rain, and I said to myself yesterday, oh, 1 3/10 inches. I like this rain gauge better than I see some people who got like a real small one that's only maybe half the size of this tube, and somehow it measures, you know, 5 inches by there. Well, sometimes maybe I don't want to plan on getting 5 inches. I only want to plan on getting a half or less. Yeah, and I thought to myself once, this is the real kicker. I thought to myself once, it's a little dry, and there's no rain in the forecast for the next week after. It could rain in another day and a half. But when that rain comes, I would be okay with it. So I stopped praying the rain away for like one day, and all of a sudden we get 1 3/10 inches. I mean, we needed it. I'm just mostly annoyed about still having hay on the ground, which it's round bales, so whatever. Uh-oh. This can't be good. It looks like a baby with a saggy diaper with the chain hanging out. Yeah, gotta do a little tinkering with the round baler. Got our big wood in the way, holding the door open. Nobody can tell me what's wrong until I do this. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the balls in there. But as I was going out to bale yesterday, I noticed that bearing was out. And guess what I did? I sent it. We went full BTO and just sent it. And, well, baler didn't catch on fire. So that's good. You know, that's what I love about chain balers. Don't have a bunch of rubber to burn. This thing is going to make me so lazy. There's 4 bolts that hold this in on each side. I don't know which side I should undo first. Good thing those are flange bolts. No washers to lose. As long as I don't lose them on the ground, we're good. I guess we'll leave one in for safekeeping. And go to the other side. Probably should find somebody to catch this thing, because when I pull all the bolts out, it's just gonna flop out of there. Everybody watch the ground to see where those are. Oh, okay, we'll loosen, but not fully remove that last one, just to see what happens. And then I will somehow set up the camera and multitask. Oh. Well, let's give this a whirl and hope it doesn't fall on my toes. Hopefully, oh, it worked loose. Gotta count, there's shims right there. I think there's only shims on the one side. Oh, and that one has a washer. Lovely. Thought they were flange nuts. Well, that's loose and it's not rolling out yet. Huh. You can angle this thing. There's 3 holes and 1 slot. So that must be the hole you start with. There's the slotted hole. Time to see what falls out at us. I guess we just nicely roll this down the chain. Well, the shims aren't gonna fall out nicely, but it's not like there's a different number of shims we gotta worry about. Whew. I thought the shim might have been, well, that's a nice stack of shims. Put that in a safe spot. Well, this is a little bit more than the bar in the gym. Okay, let's see what we got. Didn't leave any important parts behind there by the looks of it. Nothing over there, there's no shims on that side. Well, those are going to have some resistance on them because it's holding the weight of the chain. Don't know how much play they should have, but those would be a lot easier, you know, to deal with than, say, maybe this big old bar here. Well, that's the bad side. There's some balls. And maybe, just maybe, this one isn't too terribly destroyed. It doesn't look like we ate through the outer race. So, okay, well that came off nice enough. Well, from that vantage point, it looks like the shaft is okay as long as I can get outer race off, and there's no lock collar there. Interesting. Hope this isn't a press fit. I can always cut it off. For our entertainment while we're here, that one's tight. Like there's no side-to-side play. I feel like I hear it an awful lot. And just for the sheer fact that I'm this far, it's gonna get a new bearing. Well, who's seen hay that's had an inch of rain on it on drying day? Well, that's not very motivational. I did not want to see that. That's gonna be, oh hell, that does not give me good feelings. Geez. And today's Saturday and it rained Thursday. That doesn't mean I'm gonna bale this anytime soon, but I'm coming on here to ted it. Yeah, the top is dry, that's good. We'll take a nice close look somewhere. That's the top, it's crunchy, it's dry. But the bottom is green. And I didn't ted this yet because there's been rain chances since it rained Thursday. It's like, what's the point of tedding this out? And then it gets rained on and then it'll really get mashed in the ground. So yeah, this'll be something. It's supposed to be baling day Thursday, but it rained that morning, remember? So let's spread it out and hopefully that puddle dries before baling. So I had a thought, one interesting thing to think about. It was a long, long time ago, before there was much for weather forecasting. I'm sure there was a lot of hay that got rained on, but they probably didn't have tedders either. I mean, that's probably more of a development of this century, and maybe even the latter half of the century, to have something to freshen up your rained on hay. The philosophy way back then was to cut right after it rained, because theoretically, well, it couldn't rain again too soon because it just rained. You know, I don't know how that works for us some years, because if I mowed right after it rained, a lot of times it's still raining the next day. Yeah, the joys of Ohio, southern Ohio haymaking. Well, this is my hay sacrifice for the year, a little more than I wanted, and I haven't had too many sacrifices the last few years, surprisingly, with the weather. Plus we got plenty of dry time to get it dried out. And other than this one puddle up here, I guess we're not doing too bad. And that doesn't, what's really annoying is that it doesn't line up with the tedder. I'll be going right down the middle of that ditch. I think we're gonna work around that somehow, because this is, I'm not gonna throw hay down into that swale. Well, here we are. I'm back, not the same day, many days later with brand new parts. I got parts fairly quick. This bearing is used everywhere by New Holland. Good job for them. Apparently in the even 70s, 80s, early 90s, they were being smart still. This baler was made from 85 to 91. Yeah, so at best, it's got a Ford tag on it. It could be only a few years older than me. What a blast. Favorite tool around the farm? Dremel. It's great for getting into small places. And I gotta cut this race off because I don't know how I'm gonna pull it. So let's make some sparks and catch you guys when I get this off. Thanks to some handy hammer tapping, I can now quietly and gently now working one-handed to hold this camera really makes things look like they're going so smooth. Yay, look at that. And there's no gash, except for where I got a little too zealous hammering this. But hopefully, who's ever progeny in 30 years won't know that I fixed this. Except for the fact that I made a video. It's going to be more dremeling to get this bearing out. I could probably play with it with a hammer, or I could just cut it because it's already been destroyed. Now we're just showing concept here. See my cuts, and I finally got it to twist, not in the right spot, but there's two wider portions there that'll slide out. And I realized, you know, this is probably a great concept, easy to put together in the factory, and maybe if the baler was, you know, brand new, and 30 years later, and they didn't account for rust. But you know what I can't fix with a hammer? A computer. Well, one way a spherical bearing does its job, except as you can see, I'm not lined up with my notches, so I'm just gonna cut it. You know, I could get smart and heat or freeze one of these, but what's the fun in that? So you gotta remember, this goes to the outside, and this is supposed to be a bearing with a lock collar, but they don't sell the collar with it, and they don't use it for this application. When I took it apart, collar goes on the inside, and inside for us is that way, which is probably opposite what you're seeing on camera. So we gotta line up our little notches right there. We drop it in, and we want to turn it that way. Yes, correct. And, you know, in the factory, a little bit of heat and stuff, you could probably just about get that in nice by hand. But I'm going to shut the camera off, and I'm going to do some mean things with a hammer to accomplish a goal, to get it twisted the rest of the way. Well, you can tell there's some lube in it. Hopefully I didn't knock that out. This is a metal seal. It's a heavy-duty seal. But over here, I conveniently found that 3-point pin to stick through the hole and use a hammer to tap on the housing. I hope it didn't break anything. And there's a fun note, if you can read that. The bearing is made in Italy. I guess that beats Chinesium. Now we see if this will slide on, and it's just held on by this lovely bolt. And of course, it's probably a severe interference fit, for which I wish I had a nice something to tap on this, and I'm sure my bolt is nowhere near long enough. So yay, more hammering. So my bright new plan is to use this thing, use its own weight to help me get it started enough to then use the bolt to tighten it on gently. Also shakes the whole barn. After many taps on the floor, we are down as tight as the other side is. It's part of the reason why I didn't take the other side apart, was to know just how much we could go. So now we can put this bolt and big washer in, call this side done, and now we'll do something similar to the other side. Okay, the setup. We've got an ancient gear puller that, let's see, I forget, Dad said grandpa made, but is it his grandpa or my grandpa? I don't know, but they're both machinists of some sort. He made his own gear puller a long, long time ago, so it's many times older than me. Conveniently about the hole there in the shaft, it's not threads right at the surface. They leave some room so you can do stupid stuff like use this puller. I managed to jam a punch in there, and we're turning and we're moving. So for demonstration purposes, as to why we're here, hopefully that sounds as dry to you as it does to me. And for the whole fact we have this whole shaft out, put new bearings on it because we're here. I wanted to do it nicely, but I guess I'm going to destroy this one apart. And we can kind of see these balls are held by plastic instead of a wire cage. It's plastic. Not a big fan of that because, you know, they claim that plastic will melt and help lubricate it when it gets hot. Once the plastic's gone, nothing's holding the balls in place. And we don't want our ball bearings free balling because that's when they come apart. But there's the remnants of some rusty, dirty grease in there. Who's ready to watch me put this in and struggle in semi-darkness? Yay, here we go. It's brighter for me than it is for you. I can see enough or something. Because it just kind of fits right in there. The biggest thing is getting this part, the rubber in the center that, you know, touches the bars to line up. And now, the hard part, I guess, is getting one of the holes out there to line up. Well, that actually went less bad than I thought. I had one hand holding the rubber guy there in the center just to keep the bar in place. Then I went fishing. I stuck the bolt through the hole and then kept turning that piece, and since I moved out of the way, the whole thing has fallen, not out totally, and that bolt's holding it. So I shouldn't leave it there too long. But it went quicker since I shut the camera off. Oh geez, it's dark. I'm putting the shims in. You notice how they got slotted holes, and from, say, the outside perspective, it goes in like that. So I got to put those two back bolts in, and that holds the shaft in place. We slide these in and then line up for the left two holes there that aren't open and slotted. Somebody might need that advice down the line. Well, I managed to get this up here because the air compressor is in there, and I lifted up the tailgate all the way, and we're not dragging the ground. It's probably not recommended to air this thing up with it open, but I got to do something so I can get it closed. You know what else we're gonna do? I'm gonna lube those up. There's no like grease circ, but I feel like it's got to help to have grease so it slides. We don't bend them. Now let's get the air compressor pumping. Well, we have absolutely zero pressure in the airbags, obviously, because I'd pulled the Schrader valve. But here we go. Let's watch it move. Let's see how quick it moves. There you go. You can kind of see the alignment bracket moving there. Slowly. Huh. Oh, there. Just trying to get a little bit of pressure. I don't know how much it takes just to hold. I mean, it might only be 5 pounds, be enough. I just got to have enough tension so when I shut the door, you know, I lent this out one spring before I ever got to doing anything with it, and you know, there was no pressure and the chain settled, and up there by the one idler sprocket the chain had settled and folded, and then when they aired it up, it pulled it tight. We just had to pull the idlers out. Okay, well, this is going well. Yeah, there's not even 10 pounds in it yet. I'll be able to close the door once this arm here hits that stop. You can see it better on that side. At this, let's say, whole piece here, that arm, or both arms, is what kind of creates the tension, and the chain weaves back and forth a bunch up front to you know, use the extra chain before you actually get a bale using it all up. Sounds like a basketball. And we're only at, I don't know, 15 pounds. We haven't made it to 20 yet, but we got enough. I'm ready to shut the back door. Make sure everything's clear. The chain is sitting on, whatever we want to call those things, the guides to start the bale. Safeties are off. Tractor's not running. So I guess we're gonna do this the fun way. Yay, gravity. See if gravity's enough. I usually like to have pressure down, but really all you need is to make sure, oh, nope, we're gonna need more pressure down. We're not down enough. The cylinder has to retract because the door latch there has not gone down. So we need that last little bit of cylinder gone. There is pressure down on the system, but we can finish putting air in. I'll take it up to about 35 pounds. Well, we're solidly sitting at 35 pounds, so let's turn it on and see what it sounds like. The moment of truth. Well, it sounds about like it did before the bearing went out. We were just running it real slow. I was mostly curious to see if the pressure would change, you know, just if the chain had to work in or something weird. But it didn't. Usually after you make the first bale, the bags will expand and then all of a sudden it'll be like 2 or 3 pounds lower after being stretched real good. Well, time to take it to the field and see if it holds together. Okay, well, let's come out here in the bright sunlight and take a look at one of these. Well, it looks like it'd be a great, bright, shiny bale of straw. Fortunately, that's what rain does. It kind of takes color out, washes it. Now, I don't know how well that shows up if the camera can focus. But you ever know, like, rained on hay and it gets some little black dots on it? Well, we tried and tedding it, and, well, it is what it is. Like I said, in the tedding portion, there was a lot of hay a long time ago. I didn't have good forecasting, so probably just half of it got rained on. But we try not to do that no more. Oh well, back to rolling.